Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the LCS MVP race. We are obviously in the final weekend of the LCS season, and this is a regular season award, so even though we still have playoffs and everything coming up, which is going to be so hype, I'm actually so excited for both the LCS and the LEC playoffs this year. It is now about that time to start talking about the end of the season rewards. You know, you have a lot of cool awards coming out like Rookie of the Year and MVP and everything. MVP is always a really interesting discussion, especially this year where there's no super dominant team, no super dominant player. So there is actually a couple of different choices. We're going to be running through what I really think are the available choices, and then at the end of the day, giving my thoughts and opinions on who I think should win the 2021 Summer Split LCS MVP. Now, this video is a little bit different than what we usually do on this channel. I don't know, we don't usually have a bunch of, discussion type videos like this, so I'm not really sure how well it's going to do. So if you guys do enjoy this video, if you guys would like to see more videos like this, we can run through the LEC MVP, we can run through all other different kinds of awards and stuff like that. Definitely drop a like, so I know that you guys enjoy this stuff. So I know that you guys want to see more of this, and if not, then this will be the last one that we do. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm, to get 2 to 3 extra exclusive Patreon only videos per week. With that being said, here we go. So I wanted to start this conversation. I guess not even I wanted to start this conversation. I wanted to let Travis Gafford and Emily Rand start this conversation. They do have a podcast every week on Spotify. I think it's called like Rift Reaction. Oh yeah, Rift Reaction. And they were talking about the MVP discussion a little bit, just kind of throwing some names out there. So I think it's kind of an interesting place to start, just to see what names they are even considering for this award.
Well, let's move on to talk about MVP contenders. This is, for those that don't know, after next week, Emily and I will start voting on this stuff. So this is kind of our chance to sort of throw some of our folks out there. And
I think it's interesting that, they actually have MVP votes and stuff too. So where they are taking this conversation, where they are taking these storylines, are actually pretty influential. So they're good people to hear from.
You mentioned this with the LEC. It feels incredibly hard to figure out who is an MVP contender right now.
Yeah.
And I think, there's a conversation around Closer and Spica and Jungle. Abadage probably up there in the mid position.
That's where I think the 100 Thieves players in particular is a really interesting discussion, because they're still in first. I mean, they're tied for first, but they have had this drop or like cooling off period over the past 2 weeks. So I think people are much more down on them, and now much higher on Spica, much higher on Fudge. Like previously it was like C9 sucks, but Fudge is dragging this team. It's too bad he can't be MVP because they're still like not a top team. But now that the whole team has looked better, people are reconsidering Fudge.
So I thought that was really interesting. If you guys do like them, like their content, make sure you check out Rift Reaction again on Spotify. They're, I'm pretty sure, weekly podcast. But I thought they did do a really good job of just kind of introducing the MVP discussion. So they talked a little bit about Closer and Spica at first. Again, 100 Thieves has kind of chilled out as the season goes on. They did talk a little bit about Abadage as well, which earlier on in the season, a lot of people said he was going to be like a lock for the MVP. But again, 100 Thieves chilled out. So is he still there? Has he done enough? Is the early season stuff enough to make up for the worst late season? Who knows? And then the most interesting name they did throw out there was obviously Fudge in the top lane as well, which is so crazy. Thinking back to the lock-in tournament, early spring split, when people said he didn't even belong in the LCS, and then he had a huge showing out party at MSI and was able to carry that momentum into the summer split, while the rest of Cloud9 struggled or suffered from MSI hangover or whatever. Fudge continued to perform, and he has really been a beast. So I wanted to start by just kind of looking at the LCS standings as a whole. This is just from the summer split. Again, things can be really confusing now that the records do carry over from spring split, but this is what the summer split records actually look like. I can probably zoom in a little bit to make it a little bit bigger, but right now we have 3 teams atop the standings. This is obviously with 2 games left to play, so we don't really know who's going to finish as the top team yet. But as far as summer split rankings go, it's either going to be 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, or TSM as the top team in summer. Cloud9 is only 13-12 right now, so I think it makes it really tough for Fudge to win this award. I think he has been amazing. I think he's been great. I think he has been dragging Cloud9, as Perks has really underperformed, as Blabber has severely underperformed. The AD carry situation has been back and forth, with both guys looking decent but neither really looking that great. Fudge has been the consistent carry for this team, and Honestly, I think that should give him more of a case for the MVP, but with how these awards go, it's usually a player on a team with a very, very good record. In the last two splits, we've had very, very close races between Bjergsen and Core JJ, with Core JJ winning out as his team finished with the best record, and then last split between Blabber and Alfari, with Blabber winning out after his team ended up with the best record. So, I mean, recent history tells us it's going to be a player on the best record team in that split, despite kind of really how performances have been, because I thought Bjergsen deserved it two splits ago. I thought Alfari deserved it last split, but I mean, it's just been going to the player on the team with the best record at the end of the day. So I think that makes it tough for Fudge, but I do think he has a real case. And I think he has a very, very strong case, to be honest. I don't think he is the MVP, but I think he should probably be ahead of a lot of the people are discussing. Then obviously getting to 100 Thieves. I really don't like when teams have two players in the MVP discussion, because I think that kind of takes away from their values. Like, oh, you have the two most valuable players in the league, but you're still the same record as Evil Geniuses, you're the same record as TSM. Like, no, it's just the fact that these two players are both really, really good, but they're not the most valuable. If you had the two most valuable players in the league, you would be looking a lot stronger. So I, in MVP discussions, usually go towards more the one guy who's like super carrying his team. You know, the one guy that the team couldn't do without. It's like 100 Thieves couldn't do without, you know, Closer or Abadage. They're both irreplaceable, but still the team is 17-8. You're like, wow, the rest of the team must really suck then. Like, no, that's not what's going on. Between Closer and Abadage, I do lean more towards Abadage, just because we saw what the team looked like last split without him. He came in and has made an instant impact for this team. Brought them from a team who was not scary at all to really LCS championship contenders. Yes, they have cooled off a little bit, but they're even in this position in the first place because of Abadage coming to the team. Then there's Evil Geniuses at the top as well. They're kind of weird to me because overall I think it has been a team effort. There's been some games where Impact has absolutely carried. There's been some games where either Svenskeren or Contracts has carried. There's been some games where Jizuke has carried. Danny has carried a ton of games as well. And it's like, who is Evil Genius' best player? Who is their MVP candidate? Is it Jizuke? Is it Danny? I don't really know. Overall, I think Evil Genius is just a big, scary team. And then finally, where I am actually heading with this discussion and what I think, you know, Fion on Fire, the esports writer, tweeted out the LCS MVP for the summer split is, I replied with Spica, got 42 likes. It's one of the top replies on this tweet, which I was feeling good about. There is just a ton of Spica. Some people saying Danny, some people saying Spica. There is a lot of fudge, but it does seem like the conversation has gone a lot towards Spica recently, especially with TSM taking down 100 Thieves yesterday, having a very, very strong showing. I think Spica is one of the best players in the league. I think he is the best player on TSM. TSM has the top record throughout the year. They have the top record in summer split. I think Spica has been really, really awesome now that the meta has shifted more towards carry junglers. And it's really, really interesting when you compare him to a guy like Blabber, who Blabber has had much higher highs over the last 2 years, but Spica has not had these low lows, in my opinion, that Blabber has shown. I think Spica has been much more consistent. I think he deserves much more respect. I think there is a real argument to be made for him being one of the best, if not the best player in the league. And I think he's so young, so good, improving so fast. He really has a chance to be that next LCS superstar. He has the trash talking, he has the personality, he has the charisma. And after this split, I think he's going to have an MVP as well. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I'd appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know who you think the LCS MVP for the summer split of 2021 is. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on my latest content. Consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.